Good afternoon, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
and welcome to our midday meditation. And today we are in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verses 1 through 7, Tyler.
In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while
Quirinius
was governor of Syria. All went to their towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child, and she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn.
All right. So as we look at this one, why would we take time to look at it? Because it locates Jesus within very fixed points in history. The death of Herod, the taxing of Augustus, when Quirinius was governor of Syria, etc., etc., etc. A lot of people have tried to attack that. They say, well, Quirinius was actually, well, no, Quirinius was in Syria twice. One time he was what we would call an adjutant or a lieutenant governor. There was a governor who was there. Whatever happened with him, Quirinius filled his post and the other governor was put in, and then Quirinius was brought back. But it was during that first time. The other challenge that people have with this is they say, well, Augustus didn't actually tax the whole world. Yes, he did. His tax was to everything in the Roman Empire, which was the world to Rome. It's no different really than Americans. Most Americans have no clue what actually goes on in other countries. And the scary part is, in most other countries, probably 50 to 80% of their news stories is what's happening in America. The center of the world was Rome. The center of the world is America. Okay. But there were some regions that after Augustus consolidated his power, after the death of Caesar, and then when he and Mark Antony had their fight and had it out, there were some regions that had been under Mark Antony or someone else that once he was gone, some of this stuff didn't get picked back up on the rolls. And Rome wasn't getting all of their tax money. And so his decree, this was the first of his decrees, was to get everyone enrolled so that they could get their tax money. And the simple fact that people like to argue and fight about this, it tells me that they're looking to try and find something. And they say, well, Brother Brian, why would they do that? Do you know why they would try and attack this 7 verses, Tyler?
Because if they can start picking apart that, they can pick apart everything else.
Yeah.
Because if this isn't true, then the rest of it can't be true either, because they messed up something that you should be able to easily figure out.
Mm-hmm. And if I say to you, Tyler, when Nixon ran for president,
Which time?
you know, America was embroiled in a very difficult situation in Asia. And Tyler can say one more time. Which time? If I ask most Americans when we were in Vietnam, they'll tell me that we were in Vietnam in the late 60s and 70s. Point of fact, we were in Vietnam as early as 1951. We were there initially supporting the French, that Vietnam was a colony. And then when the Vietnamese were kind of left hanging by the French, we continued with military advisors and support and supplies. And Nixon and Kennedy, one of the things that was already an issue under Nixon and Kennedy was whether or not we will get involved in Vietnam, whether or not we will go to war in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know that, and honestly, frankly, most history books don't even put that in there. And we fast forward 2,000 years. And all you have is one history book that says it was an issue and you can find nothing else to support it. 2,000 years from now, you'd go, well, that book's wrong. No, it's not. And Tyler's right. The goal in attacking this is because it's real hard to dismantle the rest of Jesus' teaching. Now, why would they want to dismantle the teaching of Jesus, Tyler?
Because they don't want to have to do what Jesus told them to do.
No. You realize no one cares about Jewish history. No one cares about Islamic stuff. No one cares about Hindu stuff or Buddhist stuff. They don't care. No one cares whether or not the stuff that happened with Rama was real or not. The one guy that the whole world picks a fight over is Jesus. Because if what he said is historically accurate, and if what he said is binding and true, then the whole world will have to bow the knee to King Jesus. And so that's why this kind of stuff gets attacked. And if you ever wonder in my preaching why I teach on this kind of stuff and take side things, that's why. Is to try and equip you as best I can in the limited amount of time I have each week with you to be ready to step back out into a world that frankly is under the power of the wicked one. So, you got some other thoughts on this one?
No, sir.
All right, I'm Brian Reagan. This is
Tyler Kelly.
And we bid you good day.